So at this deliver tab, there's basically a bunch of presets that DaVinci Resolve already has. So usually we'll do custom, but if you prefer to keep it safe, you can just go to YouTube and then you can set your resolution here. Usually it's 1080p, but take note that for YouTube, right, for this preset, it's not the highest quality. It's actually compressed. So you get H.264, which is a lower, smaller file size. Yeah, so you remember to set your file name, location, and make sure these are all the parameters that you want to keep for your format. So you can have 1080, H.264, and all this audio codec burning. Yeah. If you do custom, you'll be able to set your frame rate, which is important. And then one important tip is to ensure that your subtitle settings is enabled if you have any subtitles. So you have to check export subtitle. If you want to keep it as a separate file, then leave it as it is. Otherwise, if you want it to be inside the video itself, go into burn, set it to burn into video. And then once you're done, just click add to render queue. Then when you add to render queue, it will appear here and you click start render and then you have your final video. So that's it for delivering.
Okay, maybe at this point, I will mention again that generally for vetting purposes, right, if you want to send to your bosses after a production and things like that, right, you do not need to send them the 1080p version because sometimes our SOE doesn't really like big files if you render it out at 1080p. So usually what we do is most typically we just export out the video in 720p. Yeah, that's the most typical format or the resolution for vetting purposes. I mean, sometimes even if the file size is too big or you want to include it into some slide somewhere, you can even lower down, even lower than 720p if space is a concern. So that's just something to take note of when you get to the delivery portion of the process.
So anyone has any questions for us so far?
Any other questions?
Okay, Kenneth asked, does this software offer video stabilization for imported footage? The answer is yes, but again, this is also another complicated feature. I mean, I can show you where it is. Hold on. Okay, so you can find it under this color grading tab and under tracker. Yeah, so you can track you can play the footage and track it lah. But this is also another very complicated feature. So it's not as automated as we'd like it to be lah. Yeah.
Basically, yeah, just let me add on. Basically, you need to, in the footage itself, you need to tell the software which part that you want to edit, basically by putting out a mask. Then you use this tracker and that tracker will follow whatever that location will go. Then it will apply the necessary effects like sharpening or blurring as you go along. There are much more features in DaVinci Resolve that you guys can explore. And I believe there are some YouTube instructional videos that you guys can go and refer to. But the gist of what we offer to you guys today is just to give you guys the basic understanding of how video editing is being done and what are the essential tools that you guys need to know to get started, basically.
Okay, for just now that question, there's also this stabilize feature, but we haven't used it before. You If you have one, you might want to try and experiment with it. Okay, so Abdul asked, is there any way to add effects to the video, such as slowing down or speeding up videos? So you can use this retime and scaling. This would help you to make the changes to the speed. For effects that pop up in the middle of the video, I would say that is more on the graphics side. So that would be handled the same way as how you would for any video clips or photos. So if you already have an animation or a graphic, you can just click and drag it on top here. Yeah, it works the same way as titles and lower thirds as well. So if you got any pop-up graphics, you can just layer it over on top of your video.
Okay, I will just like to go back quickly to the question by Kenneth with regards to stabilization. Yes, the editing softwares have all these stabilization features if you need to stabilize shaky footage and things like that. But my advice to you all would be, if you are shooting, you're shooting the videos yourself, right? So the best favor you can do yourself is to make sure that you get good stable footage, so that when it comes to editing, it won't be such a painful process when you realize that your footage is it's too shaky and things like that, and now I need to fix it. So I would say that during the shooting process, you just make sure that your footage is as stable as possible. So that's the best way to overcome this problem.